Obadiah. I would highly recommend using the table of contents. Obadiah is one page. So, it's Amos, Obadiah, Jonah. So if you find any of those three, you're doing good. But Obadiah, now this is one chapter, okay? It's the shortest book in the Old Testament. One chapter. But it's got some valuable lessons in it. And what it's about is really interesting. Obadiah is a prophet who preached to the Edomites. Now, anybody want to guess who the Edomites were? Where did the Edomites come from?
Edom, was he one of Lot's?
Esau. They're Esau's crew. So, who was Esau's twin brother? Jacob. Jacob and Esau. Now this goes back, this is an important lesson to understand right here, to understand this book, really. Jacob and Esau go all the way back to Genesis. When their mother was pregnant, the Lord told her, there are two nations in your womb, and the older will serve the younger. Okay? Esau was the older one. Jacob was the younger one. But Jacob was more blessed than Esau. Okay, that's the best way I know to describe it. God blessed Jacob and his descendants more. Now, he blessed Esau also. Esau and his descendants got their own land. God protected them. He provided for them as well. But Jacob's descendants got the better land. They were probably more blessed. Okay? But that sets the stage here. On down the road now, it's kind of like the Hatfields and the McCoys. Okay? On down the road, you got the Edomites, who are Esau's people. You got the Israelites, who are Jacob's people. And the Babylonians come in and destroy Jerusalem and Judah, all of Jacob's people. Okay? They lose a war and they're destroyed. Now, what do Esau's people think about that? That's what Obadiah is about. Okay? So we're going to start reading in verse 10. And you'll see why Esau's people are in trouble. The Lord's not pleased with them. Okay? Let's see where we're going to start off with. Yeah, verse number 10. This is what it says. For violence against your brother Jacob, shame shall cover you, and you shall be cut off forever. In the day that you stood on the other side, in the day that strangers carried captive his forces, when foreigners entered his gates and cast lots for Jerusalem, even you were as one of them. So this is why the Lord's not pleased with them, because when Jerusalem fell, when the Israelites lost a huge battle and lost their land, lost their city, what did the Edomites do? Well, the Lord first of all says, you committed violence against your brother Jacob. Okay? So they participated, but he says, look, you stood on the other side of the day that strangers carried captive his forces. So they stood back and watched it happen. Okay? Then he says at the end of it, you are as one of them. Talking about the Babylonians. Now the Babylonians actually fought this battle, but the Lord says you participated. You were like one of them when your brother got into trouble. Okay? Now, the easiest way to describe this, well, we'll go on and read verses 12 through 14, okay? If you can understand what they did, and it is a big deal right here. He says, but you should not have gazed on the day of your brother in the day of his captivity, nor should you have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, nor should you have spoken proudly in the day of distress. You should not have entered the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Indeed, you should not have gazed on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. You should not have stood at the crossroads to cut off those among them who escaped, nor should you have delivered up those among them who remained in the day of distress. So, it's a simple story, really. Jerusalem is destroyed. The Edomites are sitting over here on a mountain watching this. And what did they do? Well, he says right here, you gazed on them in the day of their calamity. You sat there and watched what happened. Not only does he say you watched what happened, he says you rejoiced. You rejoiced. You were happy You are smiling. In your heart, you are happy that something bad was happening to them. Not only they rejoice, he says, look, you spoke proudly. You entered the gate of my people. You gazed on their affliction, and you laid hands on their substance. It's like looting. That's what they were doing. This was an opportunity to go in here. They had lost the battle. They were being carried off to Babylon. Well, here come the Edomites. They watch it all happen. They rejoice because it happens. Then they lay hands on their substance and take advantage of the opportunity and take their stuff back to their house. And he says, look, it's actually worse. You stood at the crossroads to cut off those among them who escaped. They captured anybody who got away, and they turned them over. Then he says at the very end, you delivered up those who remained. You captured the people, you handed them over to the Babylonians, so you did not help your brother. You were a willing participant in his demise. Okay? Now, they smiled at what happened. A couple of verses here talk about, this is a great verse in my mind. Romans 12:15 says this. To rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Okay? What that means is, if you can, this is really what to me Obadiah is about. How you treat somebody else, how you treat your brother, how you help other people or don't help other people. He says, rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. That means if something good happens to somebody, you should rejoice about it. Okay? I think of easy examples. And you know what that does? That shows whether or not you really love somebody else. Anybody stand here and say, I love everybody. I love my friends. I love my family. I love everybody. How you feel about their success or their failure tells you what you really feel about that person. Okay? Just like your friend is the homecoming queen. How do you feel about that if you're a girl? Your friend is the homecoming queen. You say, oh, I'm so happy for you. Are you really? Your friend gets a date with the homecoming queen. Right? How do you feel about that? I'm so happy you get to go out with her. How do you feel about that? Right? Your friend is the bachelor. Okay? On the TV show. I was just joking. I just made that up. When something good happens to somebody else, how do you feel about it? See, I'll give y'all a good example about this. This is the easy example right here. One of us, Katie, graduated from school about a year ago as Pastor Tess. I know her mama was happy. Her mama was ecstatic because her mama loves Katie. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes when other people succeed, we're not really happy that they have been blessed, that they have succeeded. And sometimes when other people have a hard time and bad things happen, we can kind of be glad that that happened to them. And that's the way the Edomites were. They were rejoicing because these other people had gotten into trouble. I'll tell you what, I'll give y'all a good example. And to me, this isn't a good example for anybody but me, really. But my Hudson, McCade, and Micah play basketball together. So they're all on the same team a lot. They're all 8 years old. Well, this year they were playing this game, and Micah and Hudson are on the same team. Anyway, I'll brag about this. Hudson hit a game-winning three-pointer with no time left on the clock. Hit a three-pointer to win the game. Okay, that's very exciting, very awesome. I was coaching that game. Mickey wasn't there. But who videoed it? Yeah, this guy in the stands videoed it, actually. So he got it on video, and this was the cool part about this, okay? Everybody went crazy when Hudson made this shot, and Shay was sitting on the front row. Now, Shay is Micah's mama, okay? And when he made that shot, Shay went crazy. Shay danced on the floor. I mean, she made a fool out of herself. I'll have to show y'all this video sometime. She made a total fool out of herself, jumping up and down, just going bananas. And you know what I thought was cool about that? It wasn't even her kid, right? She could have thought, well, my kid could have made that shot. You know, he should have passed the ball to my kid. And parents are bad about that. Once you become a parent, you know, everybody, you're not really happy that somebody else's kid's got the Star Student Award, right? Or got the Eagle Award, the SOAR Award, whatever. Because you want your kid to do it. It's all about you and your kid. But what shows when your heart is right, You love other people, and you're glad when they succeed, and you're not happy when they fail. You don't want to see somebody strike out because you don't smile because somebody struck out. You don't smile because somebody airballed a shot. You're not, and that shows when you really love somebody. And the reality of this story is, what this is a story about, the Edomites did not love the Israelites. They didn't. And when the Israelites got into a mess, they stood back, they watched it, they rejoiced, and they participated in their demise. Now, here's a good question. Why do you think they didn't like them? Why did the Edomites not like the Israelites? Anybody want to take a wild guess? I've kind of explained it already.
They were more successful?
Yes. Yeah, they're saying it over here. Miss Sanders saying it too. They were more successful. There's jealousy. There is absolute jealousy involved in this situation. How do you know they're jealous? Well, because God said this about Jacob and Esau, and people, the Bible, it doesn't really give an explanation of this. Before they were born, God said the older will serve the younger. What did Jacob do to Esau? These are old stories, y'all should probably know. Stole his birthright. He lied to Isaac and told him that he was Jacob, and God told him he was Esau, and God blessed him instead of him. What else did he do? He made him sell him his own birthright for a bowl of stew because he was going to die, and Jacob cheated Esau 2 times. He cheated him and stole his blessing. And so Jacob was a scoundrel. He was deceitful. He had lied. He got the big inheritance, okay? He cheated him out of it. It's just like 2 brothers here, right? And somebody cheated, somebody lied, somebody deceived mama and daddy, and somebody got all the inheritance. They got this nice piece of land. God had blessed them, but what are the Edomites? How do they feel about them in their heart? Man, they hope what? I'm glad to see the Babylonians doing that. It's about time somebody came in here and put them in their place. Right? It's 2 emotions that I think absolutely are very dangerous emotions. Jealousy and envy. Right? Jealousy and envy. I had my boys the other night read a chapter in Matthew 27 about when Jesus was crucified. It's pretty neat because they've heard that story all a lot, but they said they never actually read it, all the details of it. So you read Matthew 27, it tells the story of Jesus' crucifixion. Y'all know why it says that the Pharisees, the religious leaders, handed him over, why they wanted to crucify him? Why? It says exactly why they wanted to have him executed. Because of envy. Matthew 27:18. Envy. What does that mean? They're looking at the situation, and who is the most popular preacher in town? Jesus is. Who do the people go to listen to early in the morning at the temple? Jesus. And so they are envious of him. They want what he has. They want to be in his position. They want the praise. They want to be honored. But this other guy is taking that. So they actually crucified him out of envy. What other story? And my kids got this, so hopefully y'all get this too. They actually did this. That's kind of like what other story in the Bible? Who else was jealous and envious? Joseph's brothers. Joseph's brothers. Now look, Jacob, who was his favorite son? Joseph, right? He makes him a robe of many colors every year and gives him this beautiful robe. It's basically saying he gets a new car every single year, and they didn't. Okay? And the Bible actually says Jacob loved him more than the other sons. He loved him more. So how did they feel about that? This ain't right. Can't stand him. He's got it coming, right? And what they do? We're going to sell him into slavery. Then they did sell him into slavery. They were going to kill him. They sold him into slavery. They basically ruined his life. Jealousy and envy. And you know what? Jealousy and envy are emotions that will lead to a lot more sin in your life. The Bible says in Hebrews 12:14, as much as I'm going to read this to you because it's bitterness too. Bitterness over something that happened in the past. All right, listen to this little verse out of Hebrews 12, verse 14. Pursue peace with all people and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. Looking carefully lest anyone fall short of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up cause trouble, and by this many become defiled. So he says you need to pursue peace with all people. And You need to watch out lest a root of bitterness grow up inside of you. Bitterness comes from what? What is somebody bitter about? What does somebody get bitter about? Something that happened in the past that wasn't right, and they didn't do this right, and I didn't get the right thing, right? Bitter about something. You know what? Kids are bad about this. Well, sometimes we don't like it if somebody gets something we don't get, right? Y'all know that kids feel that way? That my kids are the worst. I'm sure Miss Darlene has experienced this also with grandkids. Anybody? They got to spend the night, and I didn't get to spend the night. He got this, and I didn't get it. He got new shoes, and I didn't get it, and on and on and on. And one of my kids was just fussing a lot about this the other day, about they got this, and I didn't get it. I said, I don't care if you don't get anything. He might have got more than you, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Nobody owes you anything. It doesn't matter if somebody got more than you. Does it? It doesn't. And you know what? You know what the reality is? Some people, I like this to say, some people are born on third base. Right? In life, some people get a lot of breaks in life. Some people have good looks. Some people have more money. Some people have, born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Some people catch all the breaks. Some people, whatever. How should we feel about that in our life? How should we feel about somebody who has more than we have? How should we feel about somebody who gets more than we get? Maybe it's your own brother, your own sister, your own family member. Maybe it's somebody you don't even know. How should you feel about that? Well, you should rejoice with those who rejoice. You should be happy for somebody else. See, we can all say, yeah, I'm happy when somebody else does good. Are you really? Do you really love that person? Are you really glad when that person succeeds? Or do we want to see people struggle and have a hard time? You rejoice with those who rejoice. You weep with those who weep. There's a story in the Bible that Jesus told that speaks exactly to this pretty much. He hired some people to work for him. A man hired some people to work for him for a day. And he hired some of them first thing in the morning. They go out there and work all day long. Okay? And they're going to get paid a denarius. That's what he agreed. You work all day, I'll pay you this amount. Well, then he hired some people later on today. He hired some people right before quitting time, 1 hour before it was time to quit. Okay? These other people were working all day long. And these other people worked 1 hour. And it came time to pay him, and guess what he paid everybody? Same thing. And guess what those first people did? They didn't like it one bit. Now, why did it matter to them what they paid this other guy? Why does it matter to you what he got paid? That's what I was trying to explain to my kids, right? Why does it matter what he got? It doesn't matter what he got. Now, that's a hard lesson to learn. Listen to what Jesus said. Listen to what he said. Is it not lawful for me to do what I wish with my own things? Or is your eye evil because I am good? This is what Master said. Can I not do whatever I want to do with my stuff? If I want to give him $100 and give you $1, so well, that ain't right. Well, that's the world we live in. Some people don't get everything everybody else has got. Right? I mean, you don't all get the same things in life. You don't. Well, and he said, look, this is what the Lord would say. Can I not do what I want with my own things? Or is your eye evil because I'm good? You know what he's saying? Basically, you don't like me being good to him. You don't like the fact that I have been good to him. You're mad about it. You don't want me. You're jealous of it. Right? Y'all see, but y'all know what? Probably 99.9% of people would feel that way. Right? That ain't right. You hire a school teacher, she worked 1 week at the end of the school year, she got paid the full amount for the full salary. Are you kidding me? What would school teachers think about that? You never hit into that. I used to stay after school with school teachers. I know how they are. They would have a duck fit if somebody got hired the last week of school and got a full year's salary. Oh, they would go on strike because that's not right. Well, you ought to be happy for the lady. I'm so happy for you. You got a full year's salary for working a week. See, we really wouldn't feel that way. We can say that we're happy for other people. Well, you know, who do we really care about the most? And it comes out when situations like that. Who are we really worried about the most? Right here. All I care about is me. And if it ain't helping me, I really ain't happy about it. I don't care that other guy won the lottery. Good for him. He's probably going to lose it all anyway. You know, I don't care. We look out for ourselves. And the Edomites were a great example of a group of people who had, you know what it was? This is so classic too. It was a family feud that went back generations, right? There's a reason they didn't like them. They didn't like them, and they rejoiced when they got in trouble, and they just did not like that person. And you know what? I'll read y'all a couple of verses here out of the Old Testament I think are just classic verses that show how we're supposed to act toward other people. This is out of Exodus 23. Listen to these two verses. If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him again. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying under its burden and you would refrain from helping it, you shall surely help him with it. You know what the Old Testament saying right there? You see your enemy's donkey going astray, you better go get that thing and take it back to him. You see the man on the side of the road with his donkey collapsed under a burden. This is your enemy. He hates you. You know, he says, you better stop and help him. That is not human nature. There are people who we do not want to help. We do not want to see them succeed. We want to see them struggle. We won't even see them suffer because something that happened in the past. And we're bitter about it. We're jealous about it. We're envious about it. And the Bible says you better not let a root of bitterness grow up in you because that many people will be defiled. That is a big problem. What is it actually? What's the word we're looking for here? Just the big word that nobody wants to say. It's jealousy, envy, bitterness leads to what? This is a bad word. Hate. I hate that person. So I don't hate nobody. If you rejoice when they weep, then you probably you just deny it. You don't love them. Okay? So the way we feel about who's another example of somebody that didn't love their brother in Bible? And boy, when their brother got blessed, they had a duck fit. Cain and Abel is another. You know, that's a classic story right there. You know what Cain said about Abel? Am I my brother's keeper? Right? Do I have to take care of my brother? The answer to that question is yes. God was not happy with the Edomites because they did not help out the Israelites. But the prodigal son's brother, right? The prodigal son, he had a good day. He hit it big time. You know what the father said when the prodigal son came home? Go get the best robe and put it on him. Go get that best robe that we got in the house. Go get sandals. He gets new shoes. He gets a ring. He gets the fattened calf, the best meal we got. And what did that older brother say? I'm not coming in. I am not coming in to this party. This is not right. I have worked for you. I have never done you wrong. I've been here the whole time. You never even gave me a goat. That's what he said. You never even gave me a goat. What are you thinking? How's that right? And you know what he said? This is a day to rejoice. Our son. And that goes back to, see, this is a parenting lesson, okay? If nothing else, you better teach your kids you don't get everything everybody else gets. And if you don't get it, get used to it. Be glad for what you got, right? Be thankful for what you got. And that's true in life. Here's a classic Bible verse. And this is hard to do, but this is what we all supposed to strive for. 1 Timothy 6:6, Paul wrote this and said, godliness with contentment is great gain. What does it mean to be content? I'm satisfied with what I got. I'm not going to covet my neighbor's wife, his ox, his house, his servant. I am content. If he does good, great for him. I'm satisfied. I'm happy where I am in life. That is a great, you are a winner when you reach that point. That is great gain. Because then you know what? You can actually be happy for somebody else because you're content with what you have. And I'm not worried about what somebody else has got, how much money they made, how much taxes they paid, how much tax they got back. You know, everybody's concerned about other people. Everybody gets down and shaken about other people. And you just need to look at yourself and say, you know what? I'm not going to ever have what somebody else has. Everybody is born in a different place in life. Everybody has a different raising. Everybody has different breaks. Some people have a hard life. Some people have a very easy life. That's just reality. Some people get $1 million when they turn 18. Donald Trump got $1 million from his daddy alone. That's why he got all he's got, because his daddy was already a multimillionaire. He got helped out. That's just the reality, though. But you know what? Good for him. I'm being Huff. I'm not Donald Trump. I'm not somebody else down the road. So we have to look at our own life and be content, not jealous, not envious, not mad, not rejoicing when somebody else struggles. Love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. Do to others what you have them do to you. And that shows when your heart is right and when it's not. So Obadiah, we didn't even look but like at 5 verses of it. That's the story of it, though. And God told him, I'll read one more verse 15. He said, for the day of the Lord upon all the nations is near. As you have done, it shall be done to you. Your reprisal shall return upon your own head. God said, I'm going to repay you for what you did to them. They weren't even, this is a great lesson for kids too. This right here is a classic lesson to teach kids. When somebody's bullying somebody else, you better intervene. You don't just stand there and watch it. You don't just step back and say, well, I didn't even do it. He's the one that punched him in the nose, not me. Well, the Babylonians were the instigators here. But you know what the Edomites did to stop it, to help them? Nothing. Nothing. They sat back and watched it all. And God said, this is not acceptable. And he ultimately said, I'm going to destroy you because of the way you treated your brother and his family. So, it's not that they did something horrible, really. They did. But more than that, they did not love their brother, and they did not realize, I'm my brother's keeper. Babylonians going to mess with you, they're messing with me too. That was not their attitude. They're like, come on, go around this way. Walk right through here is how you get to their back door. And so, they did not love their brother. Anybody want to say anything about Obadiah, about that message?